Good morning, Stampers. Welcome to another Friday Facebook Live. I'm just gonna give it a minute and we'll let people log in. When you join us, make sure you say hi so I know you're here. I'm going to get my iPad set up so that I can see your comments. Here we go. All right. Okay, there's lots of things that I want to cover today, so we are just going to jump right in. First of all, my name is Sherry Roth. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Canada, and every Friday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, I come live on Facebook and craft with you. And then I repost the Facebook Live on YouTube for anybody who isn't necessarily on Facebook. Okay? Good morning, Barb. Good morning, Brett. Happy Friday to you too. All right, so first of all, it's an exciting week. The brand new catalog is here. Lots and lots of great new stuff. If you are in Canada and don't currently have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and need a copy of this, send me a message and I will make sure I pop one in the mail for you. Good morning, Shara. Good morning, Christine. So that is happening. Lots and lots of great stuff. I've got so much stuff to share with you. It's crazy. So I'm excited that that has happened, and thank you to everyone who came to my catalog launch on Tuesday night. It was so much fun. Okay, and then let's see here. The other thing I wanted to mention, today I'm going to be using one of the new in colors and showing you a really cute sample with another one of the in colors. So I wanted to mention my in color club. I did post information on my blog and I will link to that afterwards in the comment section. But I wanted to chat a little bit about it because it's a great way to get all of the in colors and a nice assortment of products in the in colors inexpensively. Good morning, Kathy. Because right now we are experiencing a problem with our Purple Posy ink pad. So right now the set of 5 in colors aren't available. So this is a great option if you want to get some of those and not have to wait until we know what's going on with that and that problem is rectified. Okay, so what is involved in the in color club? First of all, there's no time commitment. It will automatically be put together and ready for you to either pick up or I can ship anywhere in Canada for an extra $5. And what you will get is you will get your each month you'll get a different in color. So for example, month 1, the Purple Posy month, or not Purple Posy, so sorry, the Pretty Peacock month, that may not be your month 1, but you'll get the ink pad, you'll get a marker, you'll get 2 yards of the gorgeous ribbon, which we are using today. I don't know if you can see that, how well you can see that. You'll get 8 sheets of the 6x6 DSP, and it's double-sided, so you get some gingham, you get some diamond shaped, you get this beautiful little, I don't know, chain link pattern, and then you get this scripty font. So you get 8 sheets of that. You'll get 8 half sheets of cardstock, and I am not going to score them for you because you may not want to use them for cards. You might want to use them for something else, but they are card-based size. So you can easily add a score line down the center and use them for cards. And you get 18 faceted gems in each of the colors as well. So you get all of that for $28. And then, like I said, it will ship anywhere in Canada for $5, or you can, if you're local, you can make arrangements to pick it up with me. All right, so the deadline to sign up for that is Monday, the 10th. So make sure you let me know by then if you want to participate. And like I said, afterwards I'll post a link so that you guys have all the information. Okay, I don't need that anymore. All right, next thing. I'm going to draw for last week's winner. So last week on Facebook Live, we created this beautiful little card. And I've got everybody who commented and everybody who shared the video. I've got their names in this bucket. And the lucky winner is Barb. So I will pop that in the mail for you, Barb. Oh, and I should mention, last week's winner was Amy Todd, and she had won a couple weeks ago, so she asked me to put her name, or to draw another name, and I believe it was Kim Lewis who won. So I popped last week's projects in the mail for Kim. All right? Okay, So I'm going to flip you guys down and we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay. There's always a little bit of a delay, so I just want to make sure that we are set up okay. Try the light and see how it goes today. I'm back to my usual positioning, so hopefully the lighting will be better than it was last week. Okay, all right, so today we are crafting with the Over the Moon stamp set, and we're gonna do some watercoloring. So up until just yesterday, I've crafted with this quite a bit, actually. I love the set, and I posted my top 5 on my in my blog post on Wednesday, and this wasn't one of them, but I think it should have been, because man, this set is so adorable. Good morning, Tammy. So we're gonna use this today. So up until actually yesterday when I was planning today's projects, I had only colored these cows in with our Stampin' Blends. You know, I love my Stampin' Blends, but I thought, you know what, let's color it in with watercolors or with our aqua painter and ink pads and see how it looks. And it gives it a completely different look. So I'm excited to share that with you. And I'm gonna give you some watercolor tips today. And yeah, we're just gonna do some fun crafting. I know, Christine, it is, isn't it? Brett loves this set too. Okay, so let me grab the pieces that I need here. Okay, first thing that we are going to do is create our back. Oh, let's show you what we're gonna make first. Okay, so this is the card that we're gonna make. So as you can see, the watercoloring gives it a little bit of a softer look. Here, let's bring it closer. Hopefully that helps. It gives it a little bit of a softer look. So we're gonna create a little watercolored background, and then we're gonna watercolor our cow and then make it pretty. So I don't know if you can actually use the word elegant and cow in the same sentence, but I wanted to make it a little bit more feminine. Maybe feminine might be a better word than elegant. But yeah, I think it turned out quite nicely. I'm happy with it. Okay. All right, so first of all, we are going to create our background because we need that to dry before we assemble our card. And I am using shimmer white cardstock. So to create this watercolor background, I would not recommend using our regular Whisper White cardstock or even our thick Whisper White cardstock. Our Whisper White cardstock isn't necessarily meant for too much moisture and will start to pill or crinkle, and it just doesn't end up looking very good. So for this technique, either watercolor paper or shimmer paper are your best choices. And we are using 2 in colors. We're using Rococo Rose and, oh, where's my other one? And Terracotta Tile. Yes, pink and orange. We're using pink and orange together. Okay, so if you squeeze your ink pads, it will transfer ink into the lid of your ink pad. So we want to do that because that's where we're gonna pull our ink from. Let's move that guy out of the way. And then we're gonna use our aqua painter. So this is just like a wet paintbrush. Basically you just unscrew this, fill it with tap water, and it's got continuous moisture in there. So there's no dipping it into things of water, and it's really nice. So I'm just running it on a scrap of just copy paper, just to make sure it's clean. And the way I like to do this is I like to add a bit of moisture to where I'm gonna add my color first. Not a lot, but just a little bit. And then I'm gonna take the lighter color, so Rococo Rose, and quite moist. And I am not being very particular about this. I'm being quite sloppy, actually. Just add some pink wherever I feel the need I want to add pink, and then I'll go in and I'll do the same thing with the terracotta. And by adding the moisture down first, sometimes when you use the shimmer paper, if you don't have moisture there, the first time you lay your brush down, you get a little bit of a darker mark. Whereas if you've got the cardstock a little bit wet first, you're less likely to get those marks because it's not going to soak in. Oh, see, just like what I just said. You'll end up with marks like that. Okay, let's add a bit more pink in here. So you can see that I'm really not going for a nice clean look. And this is a little bit different than a watercolor wash. I would say a watercolor wash, you would just kind of brush it on. I'm just kind of slopping it on, for the lack of a better word here. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm not too concerned about those white spots because most of those will be covered over anyways. So now I'm gonna set that aside to dry. And I am just running my aqua painter on my scrap paper to get all that color out. Let's see here. Oh, Barb's gonna play this weekend with this stamp set. Shelly, you know what? To be honest, I haven't tied a bow with it yet. I'm not sure how it is for tying bows. Yeah, I don't have a piece long enough. I'm sure they look great. I think they would add a lot of bulk on your card, so you'd have to probably add extra postage. Let's see here. Barb says she thought that was a background stamp. We used to have a background stamp that was kind of like that, didn't we? I think it's retired now. I don't think we have it anymore. Okay, so now I've got another piece of shimmer white cardstock. Let's see. Shelly asked, have you tried the shimmer embossing powder? No, I haven't tried it yet. I haven't ordered it just yet. It will be on one of my orders, I'm sure, sometime soon. Okay, so now to stamp my cow, because we're adding moisture, so we're watercoloring. Good morning, Kim. I am going to use StazOn ink, and I'm going to stamp my cow onto my shimmer white cardstock. Anybody else love the smell of StazOn ink? Oh my gosh, I love that smell. Okay, so now I've got him all stamped. And I am going to clean this right away because I don't like to let StazOn sit on my stamps for too long. And to clean StazOn, I do still use our old Stampin' Scrub. I don't use the chamois because it doesn't work. It reminds me of marzipan. Yeah, it reminds me of almond extract. Oh, love the smell. Okay, so we'll clean him up so he's ready to be put away. Okay, so now we are going to watercolor our little cow. Okay, so the first thing that I do is, okay, we don't need this color. Let's put that guy away. Now, I am not an expert at watercoloring. I'm sure there are a ton of different ways that you can do this, but I will show you how I do it, and then you guys can take what I share and use it, or try something, figure out what works for you. Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna do, let's move this over here and see if there's less glare. Okay, so you see where it's concentrated here, and then it's a little bit more washed out on this side. I always start with a light layer. So I'm gonna pull from where it's a little bit more watered down, and I'm gonna add a really light layer first, everywhere that I want the pink to go. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little bit in his ear, or her ears, or his ears. Actually, it's his because he's got horns. And then, do cows have horns? Or is it just bulls? Well, if this is a boy, he's still gonna have pink boots. So I'm taking it and I'm doing the light color first, or the really light layer first. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back and I'm going to pull some of this dark and just add a bit of dark. That's a bit too dark. A bit of dark in here, just to give it some depth. Okay, so by adding layers, it's nice to start with the light because you can't always make it lighter, but you can always add layers to make it darker. When you're working with watercolor paper, so if I had watercolor paper here, it's a little bit easier to make it lighter because you can add layer upon layer of water and it almost dilutes it a little bit to make it lighter if you've done it too dark. But with the shimmer white, even though it does take the water a little bit better, you still can't add a ton of layers of moisture. Okay, so now a little bit on the boots, I'll add a little bit darker here. Bring it up just a little bit. And a little bit darker over here. Okay, so that's the pink done. Now I'll go back and I'll clean my brush. Make sure all that color is out of there before I switch colors. Okay, let's do the green on the stems, or on the leaves. So I've just got some mossy meadow. And again, I'm gonna start light and just color the leaves in. And then I'll add just a bit of dark at the base. Okay, clean it. Shara asked if it's finer than the Stampin' Blends. You know, let me grab a Stampin' Blend and we'll compare it here. Let's see. It is probably, it's hard to say because it's like bristles with this one, whereas this, it's all concentrated. I would say the Stampin' Blends, the very tip is finer, and because it's not bristles, like this spreads out. So for example, it's like a paintbrush. When we go like this, you can see that it spreads out to make it quite wide, but I am actually just using it very, very lightly. So I'm hardly even applying any pressure whatsoever. But yeah, if you compare the two, the Stampin' Blends is a much finer tip than the Aqua Painter. Okay, and then we're gonna take a little bit of crushed curry, color in the center. So you can see that I'm just basically going through my colors and starting with light, and then just adding just a touch of dark just to give it a bit more depth and dimension. And then we'll go with, I don't like to color with black. First of all, we don't have a classic water-based black ink. We have Memento, which, you know what, I've never actually tried coloring with Memento. I'm not sure how well it would work. And we have StazOn, and you don't really want to use StazOn. So I am using Basic Gray as my dark color for my spots on my cow. So again, I'm gonna start light, color in the hair, the nostrils, and then the spots. And then I'll go back in with layers of a little bit darker ink. And if you don't like the look of the gray, you could just add multiple layers of the black or multiple layers of the gray, and it would make it look darker. But I didn't mind the soft gray. Okay, so we'll pull in some darker color and add some highlights here. This reminds me of a face. Like if you look at his nose, you block that, it looks like eyes and a mouth. Every time I color that, I think of that. Okay, and I'm not even being, when you watercolor, it's not about being perfect. Watercolor never looks perfect. All right, let's add a bit. Okay, you know what? I'm happy with that. Okay, so those are some watercoloring tips. It does take some practice. And like I said, I am no expert. That's just how I do it and what I find works well for me. So then we are going to fussy cut him because unfortunately these little cows do not have framelits, but that's all fussy cut. Now we're gonna bring in our card base, which is the Rococo Rose, which you know what? I thought that Pretty Peacock was my favorite color, and initially it was, but to be honest, I haven't used a ton of Pretty Peacock. I've used a ton of this Rococo Rose. So that surprised me. All right, so now I've got a piece of basic black cardstock. This piece measures 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. My shimmery white background, I think I forgot to tell you what size this is. This is 3 3/4 by 5. This is still just a bit damp. We're gonna leave that for a couple minutes, but this is basically gonna go on top of this, okay? But let's do our other layer here first. So what I've gone ahead and done is I have taken the stitched labels, which is something, it was in the catalog last year, and I've gone ahead and taken this beautiful stitched label shape and I've cut it from black cardstock so that I get this gorgeous layer. So that's done. And then I've used my stitched shapes and I used the second largest oval and I cut it from Rococo Rose. So that is going to go over top of the black. So just like this. Make sure I get it in the center. Isn't that pretty? Just like that. It reminds me of a mirror. Like what fairy tale is it? Is it Snow White? Snow White? Where she looks in the mirror and she says, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" That's what that reminds me of. It's weird how the places your mind goes, hey? With the oddest little things. So now I've got, I had a 3-inch piece of this gorgeous 1/2-inch scallop trim ribbon that matches, or a cameo pin. Yeah, you're right, Shara. That does look like a cameo pin. So this is the gorgeous in color ribbon. So this comes in all 5 colors. This is the one that I showed you in the Pretty Peacock. So I've cut that 3-inch piece in half. And that should have been stuck underneath here. So let's see if we can just peel this up a little bit. Add a bit of adhesive in here. And we're gonna put our, let me grab a mini glue dot for this one. Okay, so we're gonna put our flagged ribbon kind of tucked under here. Let's use another mini glue dot, stick that down nice so it sits nicely. Okay, so we've got that, and we're gonna pop our cow up with some dimensionals. And then we're gonna stamp our greeting. I love the greeting that says, "You're utterly fantastic." I have a feeling I will be using that a lot. So cow is gonna get popped up here. And then I've got a 3/8 of an inch strip of Whisper White cardstock. I'm gonna bring back my StazOn ink because I want it to be nice and crisp. stamp this right onto this little strip, and I need to stand up for this. And that is crooked. That's a bit better. It's hard when you can't get right over top of it. Okay. And then I'm gonna flag one end of this, just like that. We'll trim this a little bit. And I've got a baker's twine, white baker's twine, because you know I love my baker's twine. So we've got a bow for that. And now we will go ahead and assemble. Okay, it's still a bit damp, but it should be okay. Okay, so because this does still, I don't know if you can tell, but it is warped a little bit where the moisture was added. I am going to use a lot of adhesive on this, just so that it sits nice and flat. I thought I had a lot of adhesive on this one, and it sits pretty well, but you can see that it's starting to buckle up there and there. So I'm gonna make sure that I put adhesive around all of the edges so that it doesn't do that. And normally you do not need this much adhesive. And then we'll just add a bit in the middle as well so it doesn't puff up. Okay, so then I'm gonna add that to my black cardstock. And then that's gonna get added to my card base. I want to do it this way. And then we'll add our focal point. This is gonna go on here just like this. So we made this more juvenile, kind of fun stamp set, just look a little bit more sophisticated, just by simply adding like a little bit of ribbon and this really pretty border. Okay, so for the greeting, I'm gonna use a dimensional on which end, which side is, I can't even tell which one is better. They're both crooked. Okay, so just on one end, because we're going right over top of this ribbon, and then I'll just add a bit of flat adhesive on this end, and we're gonna tuck this underneath here. I'm gonna go as far as I can because I don't want it sticking off of the edge of the card. And I am going to need to trim this just a little bit more, so it doesn't hang off the edge. And then we'll use a mini glue dot to add our baker's twine bow. That's gonna get added on there like that. And there we go, isn't it cute? Let's add our insert. I don't think I added anything. Yeah, I didn't add anything on the inside. So you could turn this into a birthday card. You could turn it into a thank you card. Really, you can even just use it as a thinking of you card. Super cute. So what do you think? Isn't it adorable? Now, I want to share something else with you. I was cleaning up, getting ready for my sale, and whenever I get ready for my sale, I always do a big purge, and I clean and organize and go through everything. And I found these action wobbles. I've had these for years, and I think I've used them a couple times. So basically what they are, they're adhesive on both sides, but they're these little springs. And I thought they would be so adorable on the cards. So I had to come up with something. So I created this. So this uses another in color. It is Seaside Spray. And then look at this. Isn't that adorable? Let me bring it closer. So stinking cute. I love it. So I basically used the same layout for the card. I just switched up this bit here, and it's a little bit more horizontal than vertical. I still added the ribbon and the bow, but it is so adorable. So anyways, so these are called Action Wobbles. One thing, mine are quite big. I had to do quite a bit of trimming around the edges so that you couldn't see it on the outside of the card. But they do have a mini size as well. And you can get them on Amazon. So I'll post a link. I'll post a link afterwards when I upload this video. I will post a link so that you can check those out. But yeah, it's just so cute. Just this funny jiggly cow. I love it. It's so adorable. But isn't that going to make somebody laugh when they get it in the mail? And it will fold quite flat. I think this still will require extra postage when you put it in the mail. Actually, maybe not. It goes quite flat. So it might not. But yeah, I just love it. It's so fun. I mean, I could sit here all day and just play with this little cow. Okay, so I had to share that with you. So I think that's it. Hopefully, I mean, it is, I don't know where you guys, if you guys are experiencing like miserable weather. We've got a ton of rain, and actually I think somebody said that it was snowing. But yeah, so it's the perfect weekend to stay in and craft. I'm not complaining because we do need the rain. With all those forest fires, we need the rain. So, but anyways, thanks guys for joining me. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a fabulous weekend. And remember that if you want to sign up for the In Color Club, I will post the information, but Monday is the last day to do that, so June 10th. Okay? Thanks for watching, guys.